Some of our conversations are not passing the Bechdel test, and it shows. Leave that man alone. Go have yourself a hot girl summer. Whatever happened to that? Where'd that go? Global warming is in full effect. You might as well make that hot girl year round. Forget that man and focus on you. Wow. Just yikes. This is embarrassing. So you mean to tell me you're all still here struggling to get booed up during cuffing season? Oof. It's insanity. Couldn't be me. But little did the audience know, this has, in fact, been him all his life. Also, quick side note slash disclaimer. I'm not making this video as a way to try and dismiss anybody of their current feelings or moods regarding the current dating scene or climate. I just wanted to provide some insights and possibly humor regarding some of the stuff I've seen or heard about dating at this time, especially since everyone or a lot of people consider it such a drag nowadays. And I don't know, maybe this becomes something that you look back on to help you brighten your day or your mood, or just get a quick chuckle out of it. But based off of that intro, don't assume we're about to get all red-pilled manosphere up in this video. No, we're not doing that here. This is not the channel for that. For this video, I wanted to take the time to look at and discuss some of the woes that each party members appears to complain about regarding the current dating climate. And actually, can I say one thing? Just one thing really quickly. So is there like any end in sight at all for the gender wars, or do we not have an expiration date on that? Because I can't begin to tell you how many times I've seen a men are trash or she's a thought type content or post in the past year alone. And then there's the questions that somehow keep getting rehashed on TikTok or Reddit or podcast about who pays for the date first, or is a coffee meet or a walk in the park even a real date? Like, can we not just do what works for us and move on with our lives and be respectful of that? Like, not everyone has the same rules when it comes to dating. Like, come on. Argue with your mama, not me. God himself got to be tired of hearing about this. They say he's everywhere, and I know for sure he's tired of hearing you complain about, ooh, she not splitting the bill, or oh, he only 5'9". Come on, man. The flood cannot come fast enough. But yeah, it's looking grim. What's going on here? On one side, you got women complaining about men not reaching the bar, and on the other side, you got men complaining about the bar. So speaking about the bar, it has been most intriguing to see where exactly that falls for each group. Now, from what the internet would have me thinking, the bar for the ladies, it's up there. It's pretty high. Especially if you look at it from a point of like physical attraction and beauty standards. There's a lot of pressure that we put on women for that. And obviously it's not like the only place where the bar is raised, but definitely one of the areas where I would say it's more emphasized. And honestly, I don't think you really even need to go to the internet. You can go outside and see that there's a lot that'll tell you that the bar is raised for women. But now the bar for the guys? Can you see that? I can't see. Exactly! The bar for the guys. Ladies seems to just be asking for basic decency, and some dudes are out here like, yes, okay. Best I can do is not call you a female. Well, alright guys, you know, baby steps, we're making progress. One of the most hilarious comments I've ever read was that the bar for men is so low, it is a tripping hazard in hell, and the devil is having a limbo contest with it. And it's interesting because when I read those comments about people reaching the bar or doing just the bare minimum, I sometimes like to think, how exactly would this read if this person didn't do such and such? Then it becomes more obvious, then it's like, yeah, this is what someone's supposed to be doing. Like this isn't some sort of amazing spectacle that they're giving for you. Like, no, this is the bar. This is kind of what's expected of you. With the advent of online dating, especially during this pandemic, because trust me, it's still COVID season. It's very much still alive in the air. Everyone basically makes it sound like it's all just gone downhill. Because apparently we've got some people out here ghosting, afraid of commitment, not willing to try anything. So apparently a notable amount of people seem to have like remarkably high standards, and no one seems to be apparently winning except for the most stunning and attractive people at the top. Which I guess, yeah, if we're looking at this as like a quantity over a quality kind of thing, or like a numbers game, I guess. So interestingly enough, when I tried looking up the differences and issues about the current dating scene, the vast majority of answers seem to come from women, whether it was through some sort of article or blog or video or other medium. Unless I tried to look specifically complaints of men about modern dating, or I looked to somewhere like Reddit just to see what the common guy was projecting. But I guess I could also look at like podcasts and stuff to see what some of the guys were talking about when it came to their complaints or issues about the modern dating scene too. I don't know, that might actually be saying something with all of those search results showing a larger majority of women and their complaints regarding the modern dating scene. But that was just something I noticed, and I was kind of interested about that. In fact, actually, here are some of those complaints now. Within this whole situation of people expressing just how abysmal the current dating scene is, I've had to come and realize that it may not exactly be all as grim as it seems. Because when I think about it, there are some people who are in some really incredibly awesome relationships right now. People aren't exactly always going about expressing how amazing or how joyful they're feeling in a great relationship, and at least to me, I do think that is something that's worth considering. Though I do believe that it is helpful to know that other people can understand you if you have your own complaints and worries, and showing empathy and voicing your concerns does have its place. I don't think that's something that should be minimized. Alright, I must apologize first because my camera died for a second there, so I had to let it sit and charge for some time. But getting into this second part of the video, I wanted to go a little bit into my own thoughts regarding dating and I guess relationships and I guess things that have accumulated in thought for me over time. Part of my issue growing up was that I noticed that I seemed to really like girls because they were attractive, but I don't think I really got to know them or their personality, or I got into issues where I kept thinking to myself, okay, I think I'm a pretty funny, chill dude, but what else is there to me? Like, would I know how to have a good time and at least be enjoyable company overall if I was in a relationship? And then going into college, I felt like these became much more serious questions that I started to ask myself, like, okay, do I have my own place? Do I have my own mode of transportation? Do I feel grown up enough to even really be in a relationship? And so when I look back at it, I realized that I just had a lot of roadblocks that I put on myself just to convince me that I wasn't ready to start dating. And when I talk about it to my friends or colleagues, they remind me that I don't need to have the world to mean the world to somebody, which is to say, I don't need to have everything exactly set up or perfected in life just to be in what I or others might consider a successful relationship. So plenty of my friends have dated a good amount of people, and they've had a great time with each other. They've also probably learned a really good amount about themselves going through those relationships, what they like, what they don't like, what they'll tolerate, even what they may consider signs of a healthy or failing relationship. But I always felt like I needed to have everything in check before I could be considered the right boyfriend for somebody. Some couples are perfectly fine with being in a relationship and actively working on themselves at the same time. It works out great for them and they're happy with their life, and they still love their significant other all the more. In some cases, people just want to see you putting in the effort, and that's good enough. But in other cases, your efforts aren't respected, your results are. It just depends on the person. At some point, I think it became pretty obvious that sulking around and feeling sad about not being in a relationship started to become a drag, not only to me, but also to the people who got caught up in my complaints about it. And I think it's good to find someone to confide in, especially if you are feeling sad about being single and lonely. But I also do think that everyone has their limits, especially if it gets to a point where that's all you're pretty much focusing on or talking about. Another problem I realized at the time was that I often found myself, I guess, falling in love with the idea of a person rather than the actual person themselves. And I noticed that I was kind of like romanticizing a life that wasn't really rooted in reality, and I don't think that would have been good for me or would have made for a solid relationship either. I did start to notice also that some of the girls that I actually felt stronger feelings for or a deeper connection to and actually wanted to date for much better reasons, they kind of made me realize that a lot of the expectations or standards that I thought were important to me when it came to dating really didn't matter, and they kind of taught me of what really did matter to me if I wanted to be in a relationship with somebody. I kind of think that some of us can get blinded by certain standards or expectations that we put in place, especially physical ones that we emphasize in dating, that we might actually lose track of somebody who's right there in front of us and is actually perfect for us and has been the whole time. And with that all said, I've kind of realized that if I find somebody who I end up wanting to date and the feelings are mutual, I probably won't care how long it took me to get to that point. I'll just be glad that I found somebody. And it's thoughts like that that do make me kind of excited to see what the future has in store. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Although I'm not too sure there's really any point of wasting someone else's time though if you're still wavering or on the fence about if you want to date, or you're really just not too sure exactly what you want out of life. I know that I want to make something meaningful of my life regardless of if I date or not, and I sometimes tell myself that I don't want a relationship to ultimately be that end-all be-all to me finding happiness or feeling complete in life. I'd hope to really complete myself and find my own happiness even if I'm not in a relationship, because I think I could really start to lose sight of the other things that make life worth living if I get a little too stuck up on that one goal. Having those feelings of wanting to be loved and expressing it to someone are still very much valid and understandable, but I do try to be a bit more conscious of when it reverts back to that potentially unwell obsession, depending on exactly how I define that for myself. But in the end, I guess only time will tell how life will go. In any case, thank you all very much for sitting through this video, and I will see you all next time.